Oba Femi needs to beat Brock Lesnar. And if you don't like that, I got 2 words for you. Suck it! So we done did this a couple times already, man. Just click up there, man. Stop wasting my time. Stop wasting your time, and just click up there so you can see part 1. But if you've seen part 1, my fault, man. I know I get a little too angry sometimes. I just need you to watch part 1. But, we're back. We left off with Bayley getting the big dub off of Lash Legend. But now we're talking about the promo from Seth freaking Rollins. He pops out to the ring, all black, all serious. He says he's been waiting 6 months to hear the fans sing his music. Then he lets him have the mic, sing around. He go outside to the ring. He oral form with the people, let them sing. He get in the ring. He get back in the ring. He says, I'm going to say this with my whole chest. I am back. And he's facing Gunther at WrestleMania. And he says, but though, he's trying to put the pieces together. Because, he doesn't really have any beef with Gunther. They don't have any real history. But he says, he's been thinking about it. He came to the conclusion that maybe Gunther is having a business relationship with Paul Heyman. And he says he has 2 missions being back: to get his World Heavyweight Championship, which is held by CM Punk, and to kill the Vision. He says Theory and Logan, they finna get whooped by the Samoans. He don't got to worry about that right now. The Brawns are hurt. Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, they hurt. They out the shelf. And he said he gave Brock Lesnar on the silver platter to Oba Femi, so he don't got to deal with that. But then he says, with Gunther, he says he gives Gunther warning. He says, if you're connected with Paul for a business standpoint, that don't mean nothing to him because you just made it personal by linking up with Paul. But then that leads to Gunther trying to sneak attack Seth, try to hit him with the sleeper, but Seth reversed out that hoe, put him in the sleeper, but Gunther gets out. He tries to land a stump on Gunther, but Gunther rolls outside the ring. That leads to Seth trying to do the suicide dive, but he gets caught by Gunther and then thrown into the announce table. And that leads to Seth. He crazy right now. He jump off the announce table, boom. It looked like he slammed Gunther neck on the apron. That leads to them. That leads to security and everything. The management coming out trying to separate them, but Gunther gets a little cheap shot in him, the big boot on the Seth while he being held back. He walks back to the back. Seth gets into the ring trying to get hype with the people, and that leads to a segment with Gunther meeting up with Paul Heyman backstage. And Paul Heyman says, I really don't know why you helped me, but I owe you such a big thank you. Such a big thank you. But Gunther says, you owe me more than just a big thank you. And then squeezes his hand. So it's looking like he gonna owe that man a favor. And if the favor is what I think it is, he might be retiring Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. I don't know. That's a long time ago. That's a lot of months away, but it would be interesting. Speaking into our 3rd match of the night, we get the IC champion Penta with Dragon Lee and Javon Evans, that boy Bouncy verse Los Americanos. We get El Grande Americano, Rayo, and Bravo. And we get Dragon Lee and Bravo to start the match. They start the match with multiple Irish whips leading to multiple shoulder tackles between the men. But then, which leads to Dragon Lee and her Karana onto Bravo. But then big elbow onto Lee. But Lee ends up tagging to Javon, who gets into the ring and then hits a big drop kick on Rayo. Then Rayo tries to get the upper hand, tries to land a clothesline onto Javon, but Javon kips up into a stunner onto that man, and then grabs him and hits him with the bouncy Rana. And that leads into a tie up with Javon getting pulled over to the corner. Grande tags in, and then lands a tilt-a-whirl slam on Javon, and then hits it with a big knee, and that leads to the Americanos pulling Penta and Dragon Lee off the apron. They get into the ring and they start aura farming with their man's Grande. While they're aura farming, Javon gets onto the top rope, lands a big crossbody on the Grande into Bravo, but then Rayo tries to attack Javon on where the rope is, but Javon backflips over it. Rayo's on the apron now, gets a big double super kick by Penta and Dragon Lee, and that leads to Javon hitting the big Undertaker dive onto Rayo. Then Dragon Lee then hits a tope on Hilo onto Bravo on the other side, and then in the middle, Penta hits the Tobic on Hilo and El Grande. Then they get into the ring, and then they hit a triple Penta walk. They hit the Penta walk, and that leads on to a commercial break. To the commercial break, we instantly get hit with a hot tag. Ryo runs into the ring, tries to attack Penta, kick to Ryo while he's on the apron. Leads him to run into the ring. Bravo gets into the ring. He has the tilt-a-whirl slam on the Bravo, and then that leads to El Grande trying to get involved. He does a takedown move, which makes him launch into the Americanos, DDTs them. He tags in Lee and then does a crossbody on the outside onto El Grande. Lee gets into the ring, super kick on the Ryo, and then he tries to go for the Styles Clash, but Bravo pulls Dragon Lee's legs down to stop it, and that leads to Grande headbutting Dragon Lee down. That leads to tagging in Bravo. Ryo gets on the middle rope, lands a headbutt. Then Bravo gets to the other top rope, lands a big splash onto Lee. He goes for the pin. 1, 2. Stopped by Penta and Javon. They get involved. Lays the Grande and the Enziguri on the Penta. But then Javon lands the red dot, bounce off the rope, spinning kick onto Grande. And that leads into him trying to land a springboard cutter onto Ryo. But Ryo, big elbow to the back of Javon. I was like, ooh. But then Penta gets into the ring, and he's near the corner. That leads to Ryo trying to get towards him, but he ends up kicking his leg, and he ends up flying down to the corner. Now he's stuck up there. Dragon Lee on the top rope, big double stomp on the Ryo. El Grande stops the pin. Lee ends up tagging in Javon. That leads to Penta and Dragon Lee hitting dual super kicks onto El Grande. That leads him going to the apron. That leads to Dragon Lee Rana off the apron. Then Penta jumps off the middle rope into the outside apron, lands the Mexican Destroyer onto Ryo, and then Javon hits the OG cutter onto Bravo. 1, 2, 3, man. Good dub for the boys. Good dub for Javon, Dragon Lee, Penta. The boys are hyped in the ring, but then you hear Booyaka, Booyaka, 619, hey! Rey Mysterio popped out. I said, oh, we got Ray. Ray popped out. He gives Penta his flowers, and he said he was talking to Pierce in the back about how he missed last WrestleMania, and like maybe this WrestleMania might need him. And he says, if it's cool with you, I'm getting added into the IC title match. You know Penta rock with Ray. He said, I'm cool with that. So we getting Rey Mysterio in the IC title ladder match. He not ready to be retired yet. He told Gunther it's not happening. But overall, I give that a match a 4-star. Great lucha action. All the men did their job right. They bouncing all over the ring, going crazy. It was even hard to make notes about it. I'd be excited to see their matches, but I'd be mad about making notes because like they be going way too fast. I gotta go back every time. And we get into our last match of the night. It's not the main event. The main event, we're going to get into that. But we get Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, a.k.a. Rio, versus B-Fab and Michin, a.k.a. Jade Cargill's minions. We're having this match because Io ended up saving Rhea Ripley from getting her eye whooped on SmackDown, so now they're having this tag team match. B-Fab and Rhea Ripley start the match off. B-Fab tries to land a kick to Rhea, but Rhea catches that thing. Boom! Big clothesline. Punching her down on the ground, looking at Jade. Then she ends up picking the B-Fab and then slams her down and then hit her with a big knee and then hit her with a clothesline. And then she goes over to Michin and say, Boom! Throw her over the ring. Get her into the ring. Then she hit her with a big super kick and then throw her back outside. But while she gets distracted by Jade and everything with that, B-Fab hits a bicycle kick onto Rhea Ripley, then starts hitting her with punches back and forth on the ground. Then she gets Rhea in the corner, hitting multiple elbows back and forth. But then she goes back, tries to run towards Rhea, but Rhea stops her with a big elbow from her. But then B-Fab fights back by getting into a tilt-a-whirl DDT, and then tries to get to a rest hold, holding back onto Rhea's head. But Rhea gets out of it by landing a snapmare and then hitting a big kick, and then that leads on to the hot tag. Get into the ring, letting the big takedown stomp onto B-Fab, and then she ends up getting Irish whipped into the corner, but she jumps through it, then lands a big kick onto B-Fab. Michin tries to run into the ring. She dodges an attack from Michin, and she grabs one, pops down to Michin, and she goes into the top rope, and then hits a missile dropkick onto both women. After the missile dropkick, she turns around, does the jump up, or a forearm on her. Then she go hit the suicide dive on both women, and that leads on to the commercial break. We get back from the commercial break with B-Fab stopping EO from getting the clothesline. B-Fab is stopping the tag from EO onto Rhea. She ends up grabbing her and then hits her with a big clothesline. Then she gets in Rhea Ripley's face and walks back and then boom, hit her with a big cheap shot. Arguing with the ref trying to get into the ring, but that leads to Michin and B-Fab and then attacking Io Sky on the ground. But then the ref catches her and then says, "Oh, what's going on?" And that leads to Jade Cargill going to the other side where Rhea is and then pulling her down into the steel steps. But as that's happening, Michin then tries to land a spear onto EO, but she misses hitting the turnbuckle, which leads into a takedown pin combo on the B-Fab by Io Sky. 1, 2, 3. It's pretty surprising, but B-Fab is like not booked like she's really good in the ring. But so that's the end of the match right there. Overall, I give that match a 3-star match. I feel like Michin should have been involved more in the match, but good for B-Fab to get more work in. But that means nothing because as EO is getting hyped, Jade, Michin, B-Fab get in the ring, knock her down, whoop her. That leads to Michin getting her kendo stick, her signature, tries to do something in the ring, but Rhea Ripley saves the day, knocks down all the women down. But Jay ends up hitting Rhea with a bicycle kick, and then that leads to her being in the corner, being held down by her minions, B-Fab and Michin. And Rhea's like, "Hit me, hit me." She's like, "Oh, I'm gonna show you something. She grabs the kendo stick. Whop! Io Sky. One time, I said, "Damn." Whop! 2 times. I said, the kendo stick broke. I said, "How hard she hitting her?" Hit her a 3rd time, and she said, "Let's go." She walk out, and that leads to Rhea Ripley grabbing onto Io Sky like she dead, and that's the end of that. But Rhea Ripley probably gonna be crazy at WrestleMania now because she whooped a side chick. We all know Io is a side chick. She whooped a side chick, her best friend. So I can't wait for that match. But overall, the match was okay, just mid, 3 stars. Then we get a vignette of Finn spoiling the Demon, and I thought in my head, Finn Balor bringing the Demon out to beat up Dominic Mysterio is the funniest thing ever because Dom is not that high when it comes to the booking of how strong he is, so it's just hilarious. But that leads to JD and Dom in the back being confused. And then they're also mad about Rey Mysterio being added to the ladder match. That leads to Dom saying, "Hey, I got an idea. Let's go talk to Pierce." And that leads to Liv Morgan and Raquel talking. And Roxanne pops up. And she says, Liv tells Raquel, "I need to talk to Roxanne by myself." She leaves. She says, "Thank you for the help last week. But, there's an elephant in the room. Finn Balor's out the group. And I know that he brought you into the group. So, there might be a little," and then boom, Stephanie Vaquer knocked both of them down. She pick up Liv, slam into the TV. She said something in Spanish. I don't remember what she said in Spanish, but damn, I was like, Stephanie, she been giving Liv belt. I ain't gonna lie. She's been whooping her. She been looking good doing that. But we get into the main event of the evening. It's not a match. It's talking, but it's barely talking because we get Triple H, the game, and Adam Pearce. They walk down to the ring to do the contract signing. Adam Pearce is doing his little intro of the signing, but Paul Heyman interrupts him. He's disrespectful as well. Then he gets a little usual intro in about everything that Brock has done. And then Lisa, by chance, they interrupts him. He stops for a second, but he goes on to say that Brock Lesnar is going to be the conqueror of the ruler and the real main event. And he's going to be the real main event at WrestleMania. And then Brock Lesnar pops out with his pyro, the music, everything. He's geeked. He gets into the ring. But then you hear, Oba, and then Oba pop out, marching. Then he even makes fun of the little dance that Brock Lesnar does when he gets into the ring. And before Oba even walk into that ring on the apron, Brock knock him down. He jump over, try to jump on that man. That man, Oba, caught that man. Boom! Slam into the ring post. Throw him into the ring. Big brawl. They end up pressing him to the table. Boom, 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 boom. Big brawl. All the security, all the management get into the ring. They separate him. Brock from the other side come over. Attack him, boom, on the Oba, other side, attack him, boom. Brock pick up a chair, boom, throw the chair. Oba get a chair, throw a chair. They going back and forth, and it's over. So, low key, I'm really excited. No, high key, I'm really excited about this match. Triple H, again, I love the matchup. I love everything about it, but do the right thing. Oba Femi needs to beat Brock Lesnar. I don't want to hear anything else. Oba Femi needs to beat Brock Lesnar. And if you don't like that, I got 2 words for you. Suck. But that is going to be the end of part 2. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel. If you enjoyed WWE 2K26 content, I'm finishing up the CM Punk showcase on this channel. The last episode part should be coming out this week. I'm Twist, and I really enjoyed this Raw. But Raw's over now, so I'm out.